Japanese companies have created some pretty bizarre commercials over the years, and just like Digimon or Dragon Ball, One Piece has not been spared from the zany ad treatment. Today we are going to bust open this box of juicy nuggets and season them with translations and interesting information about the Japanese context they were created in. So follow that log pose straight to the subscribe button, and let's jump right in. The commercial kicks off with the narration from the first One Piece opening, except that Gold Roger admits he left behind not the One Piece, but this year's Tatsuta at McDonald's, and he cleans up a delicious chicken Tatsuta lickety split. As the narrative puts it, the world has truly entered the age of the chicken Tatsuta. It's funny, it's stupid, and the seasonal menu at Japanese McDonald's is always delicious, so if you are in the land of the rising thousand sunny during spring, be sure to try out the seasonal Tatsuta options like the Yuzu Tatsuta or the Gohan Tatsuta introduced in the commercial, because McDonald's is so bad, but also so good. Here we have Luffy and Chopper getting all sugared up with bottles of One Piece themed Fanta, or something more than Fanta by the looks of it. And they're not the only ones who've had a little bit too much to drink, because we also have this angry sugar drunk, and this tiny headed Mario movie Goomba, and this degenerate lunatic wearing a TT shirt. Anyways, I'll take a bottle of deep red orange, thank you very much. If I were to say KFC, what is the first thing that comes to mind? Ice cream? Probably not. But that didn't stop Luffy and friends from promoting a 1,290 yen KFC deal packed with one of 3 delightful ice cream makers. Or this 990 yen deal packed with cups that can make ice cream or shaved ice. And actually, it makes perfect sense, because Japan is a scorching hot hellhole in summer. So why not cool off with some smooth sugary slop after slobbering down a slab of greasy chicken? And I don't know if you knew this, but KFC is actually all the rage in Japan, especially on Christmas Eve when people line up for ages to snag one of their festive holiday meals. I've personally spent a lonely Christmas or two stogging my face full of the Colonel's cooking and a few strong zeros, so adding ice cream to the mix couldn't be much worse. Just as Luffy and Law are about to clash with Doflamingo, this commercial cuts to a candy creature lady vacuuming a tiny Japanese model house, saying, "Sorry, a beauty is passing by," as she blocks her candy kid's view of the television, which causes him visible distress. This is an ad for Pucho, a kind of Japanese candy that combines soda gummy bubbles with soft soda candy and bursts of fizzy carbonation. The commercial advertises 3 flavors, soda, grape, and Americal, and soda is the best of the bunch in my opinion. For this commercial, the creators hired shoujo manga artist Yoko Maki to recreate Whole Cake Island as the Whole Cake Academy all-girls high school, which Luffy somehow ends up attending. So we see Luffy put his Gomu Gomu powers to use to drop a kabedon on none other than Big Mom, who's been turned into a bashful student council president. We also see that Boa Hancock has joined the campus beautification committee, Carrot and Reiju basically just look cute, Tashigi is heading up the kendo club, Nico Robin has become a student librarian, and Nami is actually wearing clothing. But just as the narrator says, "Now, let's all dream together," a familiar voice shouts out, "Not a chance," and the real Big Mom bursts onto the scene, revealing that this is actually a commercial not for a shoujo manga spin-off, but for the One Piece Kaizoku Muso video game. The joke is that Muso can mean either dream or peerless depending on the kanji characters used, so it's a funny play on words, although I honestly would like to see more of Luffy's school days at Whole Cake Academy. In this commercial, a kid desperately breaches the surface of a swimming pool as if he has just swigged back a mouthful of warm pool piss, and his mom provides immediate eye care so he doesn't end up with a bad case of pink eye like Chopper. These One Piece themed soft eye drops for kids from Roto even come with a limited edition pirate case. And not to be outdone, Sante FX has their own One Piece eye drop commercial, but with less underwater pee and a little bit more One Piece fan service. The ad kicks off with Luffy telling us that life is an adventure, that always seeing the same sights is boring, and that we are going to lay eyes on things we have never seen before as the Straw Hats raise their Sante FX eye drop bottles to the sky. Let me tell you, I loved Japanese eye drops, especially the refreshing minty drops. That is, until I found out that the minty kind are absolutely not good for your eyes. Regions such as the Kanadas have even flat out banned various types of Japanese eye drops for containing prescription drugs such as neostigmine methyl sulfate that can't be sold over the counter in many countries. So please, don't pull a Zoro, take care of your eyes. Now this has to be one of the coolest One Piece commercials ever made. It's everyday life at Shibuya Crossing in Tokyo until a building suddenly begins turning to sand. NL flashes into being on a nearby rooftop, and that run-amok sand wiener transforms into none other than Crocodile. The two villains proceed to terrorize Tokyo's citizens, until, of course, Luffy arrives on the scene to start busting buns as the crowd cheers him on. Of course, it's just an advertisement for yet another so-so shonen anime fighting game, One Piece Burning Blood, but the CG is as pretty as Pinky, and it made me think just how cool a multiverse One Piece scenario could be. In this one, a dog barks, a kid shouts peace, a dog barks, a kid shouts peace. A dog barks, a kid shouts peace. The dog karate kicks the kid in the nads, the kid explodes. It's not the most interesting commercial, but it shows a whole whack of school supplies in the 2014 exciting Back to School series collaboration. So if you like pencils, this one's for you. Peace. In this commercial, Luffy comes across Sine's Mike popcorn that apparently everyone's been talking about, and Chopper adds that it's the limited edition grilled golden corn flavor. If you couldn't tell, the gold is a reference to 2016's One Piece film Gold, which was well received by fans and poorly received by those film critic people. Usopp wonders how gold has anything to do with popcorn since popcorn is originally made from corn, but Luffy doesn't care, chows down, and before long, the boys are bonkers over how delicious the popcorn is. Chopper asks, "Is this what gold tastes like?" "Yes, Chopper. Yes, it is." In fact, I love the butter soy sauce flavor of Mike's popcorn, and this isn't related to popcorn, but there are actually two other One Piece film Gold commercials worth talking about. The first has the Straw Hats rolling into a festival only to see everyone there delighted about something they're holding in their hands. One Piece Scratchers lottery tickets. You can tell if it's a winner as soon as you scratch it. One Piece Scratch. I guess they figure an adequate number of people in the One Piece fanbase are old and broken enough to desperately pitch money into yet another government-regulated tax scheme, and at the end of the day, there is no harm in a bit of good fun. But that said, your money is probably better spent on something more practical, like water. Bottles of One Piece-themed tangerine water from Irohas, that is. Irohas makes a variety of tasty flavored water beverages that add a refreshing twist to the daily activity of drinking water. And even better, the 550ml limited edition One Piece Film Gold bottles came with gold medal badges featuring the Straw Hats. They're not actually made of gold, but they are pretty pins if you're into collectibles. There are few things that women love more than a hunky fella with a clean-shaven mug, and the Straw Hats have you covered with a quality razor from CrossFit. No, not that CrossFit. And in the midst of a shaving bonanza, they even convinced Law to join Team CrossFit. These razors come with original One Piece razor stands in case you want to impress the ladies just a little bit more, but for those who want to go all out on the first date, you are going to need a One Piece car. Yes, a One Piece car. At this point, we've seen the Straw Hats shilling everything from popcorn to razors to anti-pool piss medication, and yet no One Piece promo merch collection would be complete without a minivan. And this spectacular Thousand Sunny themed Nissan Serena seats 8 people. In case you have a lot of kids, you run a pub crawl operation, or you simply want to get yourself on a watch list. The crazy thing is that back in 2015, you could actually get one of these One Piece minivans for a mere 3.25 million yen, if you were one of 9 lucky raffle winners. And if I could time turning my way into one of those winning tickets, I certainly would, but I guess I'll just have to stick with the going merry. This commercial is for a One Piece exhibition. Basically, exhibitions are cool. I wouldn't want to be Frankie's tailor. That is a killer dress. That is another killer dress. And you can read the other information about the exhibition on screen. In this Corsola Measles era PSA, the Straw Hats have an important 2-part message for us. 1, wash your hands frequently, and 2, get plenty of rest every night. Luffy encourages us to overcome this crisis together, tells us that we are his nakama, and it's just kind of curious that the ship's doctor plays the least important role in the entire commercial. But then again, he doesn't have the best track record. This 1 minute and 30-second ad is one of the most animation-heavy One Piece endorsements I've ever seen. The Straw Hats are ready to clean the Thousand Sunny from quarterdeck to keel, and Sanji is just about to get to work on the drain when Frankie stops him in his tracks with a package of Look Plus's Seiketsu Reset Drain Cleaner. Just add the powder, add water, and your drains will sparkle. We then see Nami putting some elbow grease into her tub scrub when Frankie intercedes with a bottle of Look Up Plus Bathroom Cleanser. Just apply the detergent, rinse it off, and admire the shine. Lastly, we have a fumigator that wards off mold, and groovy skeletons. Everyone is delighted with the products, the Thousand Sunny is fresher than fresh diapers, and it's a wrap. What would the Straw Hats and friends look like as chibi characters? They'd look like this. Menu is one of Japan's equivalents to Uber Eats and Food Panda, and there's actually another menu commercial. But this one is a combination of live action and CG, with Luffy using his rubber powers to snatch his meal from the delivery man upon arrival. Set sail for the great age of delivery, the narrator says. And we actually get to see Otama in a commercial, which is a nice little bonus. A little bonus because she is little. You and I will have a drink with our friends CocaCola, Luffy says. With that, the Straw Hats do a kanpai and Luffy chugs back an entire bottle of refreshing, sugary goodness. It's your typical Coca-Cola commercial, but let's Gomu Gomu like button our way to a commercial series that is not typical in the least. Firstly, we have what is probably the most well-known One Piece commercial of all time, which became famous basically just because it was a live-action commercial. As you can see, Luffy has been doing a lot of push-ups, Zoro looks like an awkward cosplayer, Usopp's nose is the reason Netflix didn't do it, Sanji has clownishly yellow hair and curly eyebrows, Chopper is a stag so handsome that Santa had better keep one eye on the herd, and Nami is basically the subject of every single comment on every single YouTube video. We can understand why, since Rika Izumi looks exactly like you'd expect post-timeskip Nami to look. But even more interesting is that Rika Izumi was actually on the front lines of a full-fledged live-action anime adaptation of another legendary anime way back in 2003, when she played Sailor Mercury in Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon. That series was a whopping 49 episodes long, and if you've never seen it, well, we are living on the correct timeline. Anyways, Indeed is a Japanese recruitment website, and the Straw Hats are singing about it to the tune of "If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands." For some reason, Indeed is for finding jobs, and Indeed is for finding part-time work are the lyrics. And there's an alternate version of the commercial in case you haven't had your fill. Not only did these commercials bring attention to the seemingly impossible dream of a One Piece live-action series, but their popularity led to another commercial with a much more fascinating backstory. In the third coming of Indeed Piece, we see Chopper-kun looking sharp yet again, Dr. Kureha looking not like Jamie Lee Curtis, and a crowd of 100 of Chopper's assistants in a state of ecstasy. But you won't grasp the beauty of this commercial without an explanation. Basically, sometime after running the successful 2 ads we just talked about, Indeed posted a job listing for Chopper's assistant, which would require successful applicants to help recreate One Piece's famous Hirluke cherry blossom scene for a press conference in Roppongi. And it actually was a real volunteer position that had about 100 Chopper's assistants dressed as Sakura Kingdom's medical team assisting with the event's lighting. Not only that, but actress Mari Natsuki surprised everyone by turning up to the conference dressed up as Dr. Kureha. Her flawless roleplay became a major talking point on social media. And even better, the event team shot the attending crowd's excitement at the stunning cherry blossom scene to use in the commercial that you're seeing right now. Look at those faces. This might be why people work. For moments like this. Are you happy? Asks Dr. Kureha. It's an emotionally charged commercial about the joys of working, and I hope you found some joy in the backstory as well, because it's just a warm-up for the greatest series of One Piece commercials ever made. Of course, I'm talking about Nishin Hungry Days. We've looked at all kinds of weird commercials today, but this set of 4 commercials promoting Nishin Cup noodles are some of the best promotional tie-ins I've ever seen. Basically, they reframe a handful of One Piece's greatest story beats into a slice-of-life high school story, and boy oh boy do they ever do a good job of it. The first commercial is about Zoro, except that we see him getting wrecked by Mihawk in kendo rather than in life or death swordplay. But just like in the manga, Zoro's loss ignites a burning obsession with beating Mihawk that pushes him to the next level. Zoro declares that he doesn't need to enjoy his youth, that he made a promise, and we see him training hard every day to fulfill that promise. He tells us that he will never lose again, and the commercial ends with Luffy encountering him on the school rooftops with a cup of noodles and telling him he's pretty cool. The second commercial reframes Vivi leaving the Straw Hats as her transferring to another school. From the moment I met you all, so many things have happened. These days that won't return were the springtime of my life. If we can meet again someday, will you call me your friend once again? Vivi's narration is accompanied by reimaginings of key moments from the manga, and the spot ends with Vivi checking her phone to see a video she has received from the school hats all lined up, raising their cups of Nishin to the sky in the iconic pose from the end of the Alabasta saga. Vivi breaks into tears, and it gives me the shivers every time I watch it. In the third commercial, high school Nami oversleeps and misses the bus. She states her dream to become a navigator, but wonders if the day will come when the efforts of her youth will finally come to fruition. And just as she begins to buckle under the stress, we hear Bellamere telling her not to push herself too hard. The music stops. Nami says, "Help me," and Luffy replies, "Of course," placing his hat on Nami's head to conclude another delicious entry in the series. The 4th commercial kicks off with Rebecca announcing that the Chicken Wars began. What follows is an incredible reinterpretation of the Marineford battle as a sports festival in which Ace Falls, Blackbeard, and Whitebeard face off, and Luffy steps up to the plate. It's fast, it's furious, and it basically recounts the whole Marineford arc in just a matter of seconds, which is pretty impressive. But anyways, this commercial series is brilliant for 3 reasons. 1, it beautifully breathes new life into the key themes and story beats that make One Piece special in a setting that feels bizarrely well fleshed out for a noodle ad. 2, each commercial is so jam-packed with references that you could spend an entire hour talking about them. In fact, one internet man already did. And 3, the theme of the commercials is youth, and they probably bring a blend of both comfort and melancholy to anyone in their late 20s or beyond. After all, for older fans, One Piece may be the last ongoing story that connects us to the springtime of our lives. And when it ends, that bond with our younger selves will be severed. But at least we will still have instant ramen. And if we've learned anything today, it's that even though the world of Japanese One Piece commercials is a wacky world indeed, there are a handful of gems with real meaning hidden in the rough. And they remind us of why One Piece means so much to so many. And also, they remind us not to pee in the pool.